Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're cutting through the noise and getting straight into the latest global threat intel.
Yep, we've got the Byer-Nichols threat brief right here covering the first half of October 2025.
It's a pretty dense document, really a snapshot of what's happening right now in cybersecurity.
And our mission is to break this down for you, the listener.
Turn this, mountain of data into something useful, actionable.
Exactly. We're boiling it down to the critical bits, the who, what, and where of the attacks really shaking things up.
And honestly, the big picture trends in this report, they're pretty startling. Three major shifts really stand out.
Yeah. First up, there's this sudden, almost violent arrival of a new player in the ransomware game.
The scattered LAPSUS SRs, they're calling them the Trinity of Chaos.
That's them, and they're immediately changing the whole extortion landscape. It's quite dramatic.
Okay, what's second?
Second is the tech focus. It's kind of surprising. Android malware is just dominating.
Really? Android?
Yeah, forget Windows for a second. 4 of the top 6 trending malware variants, all targeting Android.
Wow. That's it. Yeah, that's big. An epidemic on the small screen, basically.
Pretty much, and backed by some serious criminal investment, it looks like.
Okay, and the third big shift?
Geography. The map of who's getting hit is widening. North America is still king, no surprise there.
Oh, yeah.
But we've got 2 new countries jumping into the top 5 victim list, France and Spain.
Interesting. So a real shift towards Western Europe, outside the usual suspects like the UK or Germany.
Definitely indicates a successful, concentrated push into those areas.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Maybe start with the ransomware scene. It sounds like there's been a major shakeup.
Yeah, it's definitely volatile right now. On one side, you've got some stability. Qilin is still number 1.
Holding strong from the last couple of reports.
Exactly. They've got about, 26.70% share. They're the baseline threat, consistent, relentless.
That puts where this stability ends, you said.
Pretty much. Because the number 2 spot, it's taken by this group, the scattered LAPSUS Hunters, the Trinity of Chaos.
And they weren't even on the list before.
Nope. NA, 0 presence. And now, boom, they've grabbed almost 12%, specifically 11.89% of reported activity.
Just like that, in 2 weeks.
Just like that. To jump from nothing to nearly 12% market share, well, it's basically unheard of.
So how are they doing it? What's their method?
It seems tied to their whole approach. Very selective, very public. They're not just mass encrypting, hoping for small payouts. They're going after huge enterprises with high-profile extortion attempts. It's all about leverage.
Maximum pressure, maximum visibility.
Exactly. The report specifically mentions them hitting Salesforce instances, stealing data from there.
Oof. Hitting the core CRM like that guarantees pain. And headlines.
Right. Maximum disruption, maximum public pressure. And it's having a ripple effect.
How so?
Well, the report links their activity directly to this noticeable increase in what they call large bumps.
Meaning more big companies getting hit.
Yeah, a sharp, sudden jump in large enterprises falling victim. This group is single-handedly changing the risk calculation for, Fortune 500 type companies.
Wow. Okay, so Qilin steady at 1, LAPSUS Hunters exploding into 2. Who else is in the mix?
We've also got a comeback story. Shinobi. They kind of faded, were way down around 21st place.
And now?
Now they've surged back right into the top 5 at 11.65%, just behind LAPS.
That's a huge jump, too, from 21st. What does that suggest?
It feels like a coordinated campaign launch. Maybe they found a new exploit, something widespread, and just went for it after lying low for a month or so.
So the top 3 are Qilin, LAPS, and Shinobi, all pretty close in activity levels behind Qilin.
Well, Qilin's got a clear lead, but yeah, the next 2 are neck and neck. Then you got Akira at about 8%, and INC Ransom around 5.3%.
So the big takeaway is this move towards elite, high-impact, very visible attacks targeting major players for big money or big disruption.
Precisely. Targeted maximum financial and reputational damage seems to be the name of the game at the top end.
Okay, so if the ransomware gangs are all about chaos and big targets, what about the other trending adversaries, the specialists, the state-sponsored groups?
Yeah, they paint a slightly different, maybe more strategic picture. A stark contrast, actually.
Who's most concerning on that list?
The report flags Flax Typhoon as the big one to watch. They're state-sponsored, that's confirmed.
And their target?
Taiwan, specifically spying on Taiwanese organizations. But it's how they do it that's interesting.
Okay.
They're masters of living off the land. They use legitimate tools already on the system, not custom malware.
Right. Things like PowerShell, standard admin tools.
Yeah.
Stuff that looks like normal activity.
Exactly. It lets them blend in, makes detection incredibly difficult. They can stay hidden for ages.
So, stealthy, long-term espionage, not noisy ransomware.
Yeah.
Points to national security goals, not cash.
Absolutely. Pure intelligence gathering. Then, shifting gears, you've got pure financial crime, but high-tech financial crime with the Crimson Collective.
What's their niche?
Modern infrastructure. They're hitting tech firms, cloud environments specifically. They're not after desktop files. They want those big data lakes in the cloud.
Data theft and extortion from cloud platforms? Makes sense. That's where the crown jewels often are now.
Right. And it's harder to just drop ransomware in a well-managed cloud setup, so they pivot to stealing the data itself and using that for leverage.
Smart, in a criminal way. What about these storm groups? Sound ominous.
They're basically exploit specialists. Think of them as the delivery crews for ransomware or other payloads.
So finding the way in.
Exactly. Storm 1175 and Storm 2603, for example, they specialize in hitting major enterprise software, things like Go Anywhere, MFT, that's managed file transfer and SharePoint.
Big collaboration and file sharing platforms. Prime targets.
They punch the initial holes in those complex corporate networks, tactical entry teams, essentially.
But there's another storm group mentioned, 2657. They're different.
Yeah, Storm 2657 stands out, not necessarily for cutting-edge tech, but for their target. They're specifically hijacking U.S. university payroll systems. University
payrolls. Why them? Seems oddly specific.
Well, think about it. Universities often have a mix of valuable data research, PII on faculty and students, but maybe not the same level of security funding as a big bank.
Okay, makes sense. And hitting
really disruptive. People don't get paid. It causes immediate widespread distress. That forces the university's hand. They need to pay quickly to get essential services back online.
That's a very targeted way to inflict maximum pain quickly on a potentially softer target.
Exactly. A critical but maybe less hardened infrastructure sector.
And there's also a pro-Russian group mentioned. TUNET.
Yep, their focus is clear. Disrupting critical infrastructure. Pure disruption, political motives likely.
So if we tie all these threads together, Flax Typhoon, Crimson Collective, the storm groups, TUNET, even LAPSUS, what's the common theme?
I think it's specialization and professionalization, really. Whether it's state espionage, cloud data theft, specific exploits, payroll hijacking, or high-stakes extortion.
It's all very focused now.
Right. We're moving past the era of just opportunistic spray and pray attacks. Every campaign seems tailored for maximum impact, whether that's stealing secrets or causing chaos, bespoke attacks.
That level of specialization must mean they're choosing their targets very carefully. Yeah. So who is getting hit? Let's look at the victimology.
Yeah, the shift in victim sectors is really telling. It signals where attackers see the best opportunities right now.
And financial services is no longer number one. That's huge news. For years, that was the target.
It was. But this period, major shakeup. Finance dropped significantly.
So who took the top spots?
Manufacturing jumped from 4th place all the way to 1st. Now 15.53% of victims.
Wow. And retail also surged.
Yep, from 5th place up to 2nd at 14.32%.
Meanwhile, finance fell from 1st to 4th, only about 11% now.
That's right. Technology held steady in 3rd place at around 13%.
What does that tell you? Why the shift away from banks to factories and shops?
I think it points to leverage. Disrupting the physical world's supply chains, point-of-sale systems seems to offer a better, or maybe just faster, payoff right now.
Faster than trying to cash out stolen financial data, which can be tricky.
Exactly. If you shut down a factory line, the cost of that downtime is immediate, it's huge, and the pressure to pay the ransom now is immense. Same with retail POS systems.
It's moving from data value to operational disruption value. Makes sense.
It's the difference between slow monetization and immediate critical leverage.
Okay, so manufacturing and retail are the hot sectors. What about geographically? USA, still dominant.
Overwhelmingly. Holding steady at 57.28% of victims, no change there. The U.S. is still ground zero.
But you mentioned changes in Europe.
Yeah, the map is shifting a bit. Canada's still in the top 5.34%. Germany's there too, 2.43%.
But the newcomers.
France at 5.34%, tied with Canada, and Spain at 3.40%. They're new to the top 5 this period.
That can't be random. What's driving that focus on France and Spain specifically?
Could be a few things. Maybe attackers developed tools better suited for French or Spanish systems or languages. Maybe they found some common vulnerabilities or regulatory gaps there.
Or maybe those markets are just seen as slightly softer targets compared to the hyper-aware US or maybe even UK-German markets.
That's definitely possible. A concentrated push into what they perceive as greener pastures.
And you mentioned that this ties back to the LAPS Hunters and the size of targets?
Absolutely. The data on organizational size is maybe the most dramatic statistic in the whole report.
Let's hear it.
The percentage of victims that are large enterprises defined as 5,000 or more employees, it nearly tripled.
Tripled in one reporting period.
Yep. Went from 5.24% in the last brief to 13.14% now.
That's staggering. And that's the LAPSU effect.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
It's the statistical footprint of these groups going after the whales. They've decided the extra effort to breach a huge company is worth the potentially massive payout.
So large enterprises are now firmly in the crosshairs, not just occasional collateral damage.
They're primary targets now. High priority.
What about smaller companies? Are they getting a break?
Not exactly. Mid-market companies, 5,000 employees, actually saw a bit of an increase too, from about 13.3% to almost 16.8%.
And small businesses? Under 500 employees.
Their share dropped from over 81% down to about 70%. So proportionally less, but they're still the biggest group by sheer volume. Lots and lots of small businesses getting hit.
But the key message for, CISOs at big corporations is the risk just went way, way up.
Undeniably, the game has changed for them.
Okay, here's where you said it gets really interesting. The tools, the malware itself, and this focus on Android.
Yeah, the sheer volume and sophistication here. It suggests a major strategic investment by attackers in mobile tooling.
It's not just kids messing around. This is serious stuff hitting phones.
Definitely. They're hitting mobile because, frankly, it's often the weakest link and it holds so much sensitive personal data.
So let's break down these top Android threats. You mentioned ClayRat first.
Right. ClayRat is interesting. It's spyware, evolving fast, and seems mainly targeted at Russian users.
How's it spreading?
Mostly through deception. Social engineering via Telegram channels, phishing sites, tricking users into sideloading the app, basically installing it outside the official app store.
And once it's on the phone?
It's all about surveillance, hoovering up SMS texts, call logs, device info, a complete digital eavesdropping tool.
Suggests espionage or maybe deep financial intel gathering on a specific group.
Could be. And you have Klopatra. This one's different. It's a banking Trojan.
Aiming for money. Where's it hitting?
Primarily Spain and Italy, which, remember, are our new European hotspots in the victim list.
Ah, connecting the dots. What's special about Klopatra?
Technically, it's using a commercial-grade code protection suite. This is software legitimate companies use to stop their code being copied or reverse engineered.
And the criminals are using it to hide their malware.
Exactly. It makes Klopatra incredibly hard for security tools to detect and for researchers to pull apart and analyze.
That points to a well-funded professional operation.
No doubt. Intel suggests it's run by a Turkish-speaking group who've spotted an opportunity in Southern Europe, using high-end tools for mobile bank theft.
Okay, and then there were two others, Prospi and Tospi.
Yeah, this peer seems focused on communication apps. Prospi pretends to be an update or plugin for apps like Signal and ToeTalk.
While Tospi just goes after ToeTalk users specifically.
Right, laser-focused on ToeTalk. And like ClayRat, they avoid the Google Play Store. Distribution is via malicious websites, tricking users into installing them manually.
And where are these being seen?
Confirmed detections are heavily concentrated in the UAE.
So another regionally targeted operation. Likely trying to intercept sensitive chats in a region where those specific apps are popular.
Looks that way. Targeted interception using apps people trust.
It's really clear mobile isn't a sideshow anymore. But you also mentioned some incredibly complex attacks hitting, like, core infrastructure. Tell us about PureAt.
Ah, PureAt. This one's attributed to suspected Vietnamese hackers, and it's just a masterclass in complexity and stealth.
How complex are we talking?
We're talking a 10-stage infection chain. 10 distinct steps just to get the final payload running and hidden.
10 stages. That sounds incredibly intricate. How does it even start?
Starts deceptively simple. A phishing email disguised as a boring copyright notice.
Okay, lure them in.
Inside is a ZIP file, contains a malicious DLL file, and a fake PDF reader. That's stage 1. The early stages use lightweight Python scripts just to gather basic info, do some recon.
Feeling out the system before going all in.
Pretty much. Then it escalates. Later stages use compiled .NET code and some really advanced evasion techniques.
Like what?
Process hollowing is a key one. They essentially carve out the memory of a legitimate, trusted Windows process.
Like explorer.exe or something.
Could be, and then they inject their malicious code into that hollowed-out space. The OS still sees the trusted process running, but it's actually the malware.
Oh! Running completely hidden under a legitimate disguise. A ghost in the machine.
That's a good way to put it. It bypasses a lot of defenses. The final payload, PureAT, sets up encrypted command and control, fingerprints the host in detail. It's built for long-term, secure, hidden access.
That's deeply sophisticated. A sniper rifle approach? What about the opposite end? You mentioned an exploit shotgun.
Right, that's RondoDox. If PureAT is the sniper, RondoDox is just spraying pellets everywhere, hoping to hit something.
What's it shooting at?
Basically, the neglected parts of the internet infrastructure. It scans for and tries to exploit over 50 different known vulnerabilities.
50? Across how many vendors?
More than 30 different vendors. It's looking for any unlocked door on devices people forget about.
Like what kind of devices?
Routers, consumer and enterprise, DVRs, NVRs for security cameras, CCTV systems themselves, old web servers, anything internet-facing that probably hasn't been patched in ages.
The low-hanging fruit of the internet, often running ancient software, default passwords.
Exactly. Easy targets. And the report gives a specific example they saw RondoDox getting in using a flaw in TP-Link Archer routers. It's CVE 2023-1389. The kicker. This flaw has been actively exploited since 2022.
Wait, a 2-year-old vulnerability is still a primary way in for a major botnet?
Yep. Tells you everything you need to know about the state of basic infrastructure patching, doesn't it? It's a huge systemic failure.
So what does RondoDox do with all these compromised routers and DVRs?
Builds a massive botnet. Its sole purpose seems to be launching powerful DDoS attacks, distributed denial of service, flooding targets with junk traffic using HTTP, UDP, TCP protocols.
So we have this wild contrast, hyper-complex, 10-stage attacks for espionage, and brute force exploitation of old flaws to build DDoS armies.
Attackers use whatever works, from the most advanced techniques to the most basic neglect. They leverage the whole spectrum.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Immediate risks. What vulnerabilities need patching, like yesterday? And then let's talk about the money driving all this.
The vulnerability list is pretty daunting. All the big names are there. Microsoft, Adobe, Oracle, Samsung, flaws hitting critical enterprise systems and mobile devices.
But the report singles out one as the absolute highest immediate risk.
Yeah, that's CVE 2025-54253. It affects Adobe Experience Manager forms, or AEM forms.
Remind us, what's AEM forms used for?
It's a big enterprise platform for managing content, workflows, digital forms, handles a lot of sensitive business processes.
And the vulnerability, why is it so bad?
It allows remote code execution RCE without any user interaction. That's the killer part.
Meaning an attacker doesn't need someone to click a link or open a file?
Yep. They can just send a specially crafted packet to a vulnerable AEM server and boom, they can run their own code on it. Silently. Remotely.
That's terrifying. An invisible attack vector on a core business system.
It gets worse. There's already a public proof of concept exploit available.
Oh, great. So any script kiddie can now try and use it.
Pretty much. The knowledge is out there. That shrinks the window for patching down to basically zero. Needs to be fixed immediately.
And other critical ones mentioned. Besides Adobe.
Yeah, ongoing risks in Forta's Go Anywhere MFT, that's been a recurring target. Synacor's Zimbra email and collaboration suite. Oracle's e-business suite. And of course, various flaws in Samsung mobile devices.
All systems handling sensitive data transfer and storage.
Right. And patching these big, complex enterprise systems like Oracle EBS or AEM, it's not always fast or easy.
Which raises that question you posed. Are companies prioritizing patch speed, getting something fixed quickly, over scope, making sure everything related is covered?
It's a tough balance, but any delay in patching these critical flaws is an open invitation for attackers. They live in that gap.
And speaking of exploiting those gaps,
yeah,
let's look at some recent headlines that show the impact and the economics of this whole situation. Finding a zero-day first is gold.
The Klopatra ransomware group is a prime example. The report notes they were caught exploiting an Oracle zero-day vulnerability, and they'd been doing it since early August for data theft. That means they had 2 full months of undetectable access before Oracle even knew about the flaw or released a patch.
2 months. That's an eternity in cyber time. Shows why 0 days are worth so much.
Absolutely. And supply chain issues just keep making news. We saw SonicWall having firewall configuration stolen.
For all their cloud backup customers, that's bad. Gives attackers the blueprints to hit the actual customers.
Exactly. And then there was that weird Adobe Analytics bug where customer tracking data somehow leaked between different tenants. Company A could see Company B's data. Imagine the privacy nightmare.
Yeah, not good. And these breaches feed the underground economy, right? We're talking huge money.
Massive scale. Look at the state-sponsored stuff. The report mentions North Korean hackers stealing over $2 billion in cryptocurrency this year alone.
$2 billion. That's not just crime. That's state funding via hacking.
It basically is. Funding missile programs, who knows what else. And on the pure criminal side, the U.S. seized $15 million in crypto from just one pig-butchering scam kingpin.
$15 billion. The scale is just astronomical. These groups have incredibly deep pockets.
Which lets them buy the best tools, the best 0 days. It's a vicious cycle.
But there's a counter economy, right? The defensive side, the bug bounties.
Yeah, and that's growing massively, too. Companies are throwing money at finding flaws before the criminals do.
How much money are we talking?
HackerOne, a big bug bounty platform, paid out $81 million to ethical hackers in the last year.
$81 million. Wow.
And look at what vendors value most. Apple is now offering up to $2 million for a single, zero-click remote code execution vulnerability on iPhones.
$2 million for one bug. That tells you how dangerous they consider that specific type of flaw, the kind that requires no user interaction, like that Adobe AEM one.
Exactly. The market price reflects the risk.
Okay, let's try and wrap this all up. We've covered a ton of ground from the Byer-Nichols brief. What are the absolute key takeaways for you, for the listener?
For me, 3 big interconnected trends really define this period.
Go on.
First, that huge, undeniable shift towards hitting large enterprises with high-profile extortion, driven by groups like the LAPSUS Hunters.
The tripling of large enterprise victims. That stat really sticks. It's not just an SMB problem anymore.
Not at all. It's a board-level risk now. Second, the sophistication level is up across the board, but it's being applied everywhere.
You mean like Purat's 10 stages for targeted attacks?
And Rondodox using simple old router flaws to build giant DDoS botnets. They're using advanced and basic techniques, whatever gives the best return on that specific target. Maximize impact across the whole spectrum.
Right. And the third trend?
The Android epidemic. It's unavoidable. 4 of the top 6 malware variants hitting mobile, using everything from high-end commercial code protection like Klopatra
to very specific regional targeting like Prosby and Tosby in the UAE. The fight has definitely moved into our pocket.
No question. So what does it all mean? I think it means the line between, say, nation-state espionage capabilities and what regular cybercriminals can deploy. That line is getting incredibly blurry.
State-level tools in criminal hands.
Effectively, yes, or at least near state level. Financially motivated groups have access to serious firepower now. They're adapting fast, hitting new targets like routers and IoT.
While still hammering the core enterprise stuff like Adobe and Oracle for RCE and data theft.
Exactly. It's converging, hitting manufacturing, retail, critical sectors, right down to things like university payrolls. Everything is potentially a valuable target now.
So that brings us to the final thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on.
Yeah, think about this. We see massive investment in sophisticated Android malware, like banking Trojans using commercial obfuscation. At the same time, we see groups like Storm 2657 surgically targeting something as specific as U.S. university payrolls.
Okay.
How do we, as a security community, reconcile the fact that these very high-end, almost state-level capabilities are now being routinely aimed at targets we used to think of as, well, low-level or opportunistic?
It implies that any target, no matter how seemingly small or complex, might now be worth the effort for these advanced actors if the potential payout or leverage is there.
Exactly. It fundamentally changes what we consider a soft target. If even a university payroll system warrants a dedicated, specialized attack campaign, what isn't a target now?
Reach out to us at jbyer.com for comments and questions. Follow us at Byer Company on social media, and if you'd be so kind, please rate and review us in your podcast app.